Hey everyone, it's another episode of Just My Take podcast. This is Dex PC5. Hope you guys are enjoying your Wednesday night. We are in for a good episode. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you listening to me. I appreciate that. So for those who don't know, the Just My Take podcast, it covers sports, news, TV, entertainment. I try to cover a variety of topics, kind of give my take, try to spark up some conversation. I appreciate the support that you guys keep continuing to give me with the views, the listens, the subscriptions, and I appreciate the love out there. Anyway, let's get to into the show. So right now, we're in the beginning of October, and I love the month of October. One, you got the Halloween's coming up, which is one of my favorite holidays because you have all the creative costumes out there, people doing the wildest type of costumes and the wildest parties out there. Halloween's just a good time where everyone just comes together and just parties and celebrates. And I love that. I love that in society. But October is also very good for sports. It's a very good sports month. Right now, I'm actually watching the AL wildcard game between the Yankees and the Oakland Athletics. The Yankees are up 2-0, top of the second. Baseball postseason is in full effect. I'm going to be honest, this is about the time that I kind of focus in on baseball because I think playoff baseball is very intense. Every pitch, every swing, every stolen base, every umpire call is very intense, and I love that. I think that's one of the highlights of sports. So you got baseball postseason in effect right now with the wild card games. The NFL is a quarter of the way done. There are some teams that are looking very hot right now. You got the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. That guy's balling out right now. Jared Goff with the Rams. They look unstoppable. Aaron Rodgers is still my guy. I'm going to rep him. The Patriots are doing okay. The NFL right now, they got a good young batch of young quarterbacks that I think are going to carry the season. I think the ratings are going to be better this season compared to last season just because of these young quarterbacks that we're seeing. And then you still got Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady doing what they got to do. Also, for those who don't know, you got the preseason that's starting up with the NHL and the NBA. I saw the other day LeBron James as a Los Angeles Laker doing his thing, making his dunks. He's just starting off for the Lakers, so I think that's going to be good as well. So yeah, with October being the best sports season, we got a lot going on. But I want to take a little shift and talk about music. Recently, the Carter 5 just came out. Lil Wayne just busted that album out this weekend. Pretty good album. I listened to it one time over, and then I listened to some of the hit songs a few times over. For the first week in sales, he hit 450,000. Let me say 450,000 sales, which is I think caught a lot of people by surprise. Not because that Lil Wayne can't generate those type of sales, but I think because he was out of the game, especially with an album. He's been gone for so long. I think that 450K was like, a shocker, but that's good for Lil Wayne. And I'm not really surprised because people loved Lil Wayne. The hype was there when he made the announcement that he was dropping the Carter 5 on his birthday. I think as soon as it dropped out, people were ready for it. Supposedly Kanye was supposed to drop Yandy, but that never happened. So I think the attention was fully on the Carter 5 for the most part. I think the major hit was Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa, he did a track called Mona Lisa with Kendrick Lamar. And you got to listen to the song. I think it's very creative. I love the storytelling of it. I love that Lil Wayne and the girl. This is my interpretation, so I could be wrong, but this is my interpretation. Lil Wayne and the girl did a little scheme where they hooked up with I think a guy named Kendrick Lamar was a character. The girl hooked up with Kendrick, and meanwhile they did robberies and all that stuff. And I thought it was a great collaboration between the modern old and the modern new. And what I mean by the modern old is that Lil Wayne is not super old in terms of if we're talking about, say, I don't know, like Ice Cube or even before that. Lil Wayne is relevant, but obviously he's in his mid-30s. His time is almost coming to an end in terms of relevancy in the rap game. Just like Eminem, I feel they're kind of in that same atmosphere where it's like there's only so much new content that they can put out because they're super rich. They put out so much stuff that it's very hard to really try to come up with something new. And then you got Kendrick Lamar, who's killing the game. I can't wait for the next Kendrick album whenever that drops. And I thought it was a good mesh of styles. I recommend that people, really check into it and listen to that album. And then you got you had this another track which I kind of caught me by surprise. Lil Wayne had the song with Dark Side of the Moon by Nicki Minaj. And Nicki Minaj can sing. She can really sing. She can really carry a tune. And I think that in her next album, she should definitely do some more singing. I know in the Queen album, she did a few songs, but I think she should really just do a singing album. And that should maybe be her new wave. But again, Lil Wayne, I'm happy for him. I know he had some contract disputes with Birdman, and it took a lot of legal battle, but he got out of that. But I remember Lil Wayne when he actually came out. He came out with the song "Shine," and that was when he was with the Cash Money crew. It was Birdman, Manny Fresh, Mac 10, and it was kind of just a collaboration of all those rappers. And Lil Wayne was just kind of starting out, and so for him to kind of go from "Shine," which came out in 2000. To 2018 and still being relevant. I mean, that's a guy who's a legend in the game, a very good legacy. And he still has impact in the music and the look of some rappers today. Because if you look at some of these young rappers like Tekashi 6ix9ine, Little Peep, Little this, Little that, there's a whole bunch of littles out there. XXXTentacion, rest in peace. With the dreads and the tattoos on the face and all that stuff. Lil Wayne did all that. He was like the first mainstream guy who kind of had all that going. It's just that these little guys have it a little bit more extreme with the face tats. So Lil Wayne definitely has some influence in the game. I wouldn't say it's a comeback album because he's always been relevant, but it was kind of like, I would say it was a good return to glory for Lil Wayne. So I'm happy for him. But 2018 has been a great year of music. A lot of people are dropping albums. A lot of people coming back, like Lil Wayne, Eminem dropping albums. J. Cole has an album, Drake, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Pusha T, Kanye, even though he says he's going to do another one November 25th, which we'll see what that happens. I'm kind of off Kanye. I have a little rant that I'm going to add on to the end of this episode, which I recorded on Monday because I was so pissed off by what he said. Regardless, so you have a lot of artists that are doing the albums, and I think it's a great year for music that way. I love it. But who's one guy who I think should come back? And he's not, to be honest, no one's really talking about him. But I think he could easily come back and at least generate some sales. I could say at least 250 to 300K in sales from a comeback album. And that's Ja Rule. Yeah, that's right, Ja Rule. Because to me, Ja Rule, this guy, I don't think gets the credit he deserves for his influence on the hip-hop industry today. Because back in the day, he was one of the mainstream guys who did the hip-hop pop records, where he do the little rapping, but he also do the singing with the R&B person. Now, when he was in his beef with 50 Cent, he got destroyed by that because the industry back in the day, in the 90s or early 2000s, you had to have lyrics. You had to be lyrical. You couldn't just do mumble rap. And you got kind of dogged when you were a singer. And 50 Cent really came in hot, and he destroyed Ja Rule and actually set Ja Rule's career back. Now, knowing that we know 50 Cent was just doing it to try to put himself on, because 50 Cent is a major troll. We all know that, and we love 50 for that. But 50 Cent was a young guy in the game. He had to figure out a way to take out somebody, so he went after Ja Rule. I think Ja Rule, in this current climate right now, he should definitely drop an album, because if you notice, every single rapper, mainstream rapper right now, raps and sings. And the biggest artist right now in the world is Drake, who's known for rapping and singing. I think Ja Rule kind of started that trend. Maybe he was a little bit before his time in terms of being that mainstream rap singing star. But I think Ja Rule should definitely come back because I think he would get the album sales. I mean, I'm on Apple Music right now, and I'm looking at some of the hits that this guy has done throughout his career. Always on Time with featuring Ashanti, Put It On Me, Mesmerize, Holla Holla, Can I Get a What with Jay-Z, I'm Real with featuring Jennifer Lopez, Between Me and You, Wonderful with Ashanti, Ja Rule, and R. Kelly, Ain't It Funny with Cadillac Ty and Jennifer Lopez, New York. That was a banger back in the day when he did drop that New York song with Fat Joe, Ja Rule, and Jadakiss. Living It Up with Case. And these are just some of the songs that he's made. And if you played them today, it would still get major play. It would still get major play because people would be like, oh yeah, I remember that song. Ja Rule. I think Ja Rule, man, I heard some rumors that him, Murder Inc. were thinking about dropping something. I think this is the perfect time for the guy to do something. I think it's the perfect time to come out with a new album. And I think he could generate 250 to 300K. Honestly, I really do. I think he could do decent numbers. Anyway, shifting off of that, this is a short episode this week. But I wanted to talk about the current state of the country. Right now, we are 1 month away from the midterm elections. About 1 month away. I'm gonna try to be objective because I don't want to talk to. I do find politics to be very interesting. I find the campaigning and the way the two sides go against each other, I find it very interesting. I find it compelling, and it's almost like a modern day Game of Thrones or House of Cards. The way they will pull shit out their ass to foil the other side. But obviously, right now, the country is divided. The Democrats and Republicans, they're both kind of just bickering, in my opinion. They're kind of both bickering. And, politics, I think politics is very tough because it comes down to how you're raised, what your morals are, and what you feel for your future is for your family and for your kids. So it's not like sports where there's a defiant winner. Like this Yankees Athletics game, there's going to be a defiant winner, and that's it. But with politics, there's never really a winner and loser. I mean, there's always going to be back and forth. Anyway, like the presidential election with Hillary and Trump, it was a very ugly election. The country, I think, went through a ringer and had to take like a shower after it because it just felt so dirty. And I feel the midterm elections is going to be just the same. I think it's going to be a big midterm election. I think it might be one of the biggest in recent memory. Because, there's just a lot of wild stuff going on. I think for me, from an objective standpoint, regardless of my politics, it's going to come down to this. Either you're going to vote for the economy of the country or you're going to vote for the morality of the country. And here's what I mean. If you're voting for the economy, you're voting for, hey, the economy is booming right now. Unemployment rate is at an all-time low. The recent tax breaks that we got is putting some extra money in people's pocket. The stock market is doing well. I mean, the stock market right now is at an all-time high. All-time high, and it keeps going up. There's stocks right now at all-time highs. It's actually very interesting. I was in class the other day, and we're debating whether to even buy stocks or not because it's at an all-time high. And we don't know when the next crash is going to happen. And so it's like, all right, do you buy certain stocks now and then boom, a crash happens? Or do you just buy and then it keeps going up? So in terms of the money aspect, things are going very well. And for a lot of people, they're like, morality be damned. My life is fine. The people that I know is fine. My family's fine. As long as I'm getting the money and the money's good, I'm good with the way things are. And that's fine. That's fine if you believe that. And then you have the other side who are arguing the morality side. And they're arguing, well, I don't care if I get an extra $100, $200 in my paycheck when society is going to shit, when society, the moral fabric of the country is being destroyed step by step by step. Right now the country's more divided. You have your Democrats and Republicans, but now you just have everyone's just arguing with each other all over on Twitter and Facebook. It's never ending. Sometimes you just have to get off of social media to take a break because it's never ending. And not only is it the moral fabric of the country, inside the country, but then the moral fabric of the country in the world standpoint, because people around the world, here's the thing that people don't understand. Like, if you never left America, or don't really pay attention to the rest of the world, is that the rest of the world does hold us in high regard. We are regarded as the moral police of the world. Our economy is pretty stable. In terms of investments, people still invest in America because it's very stable. They look at America as the beacon of hope. But recently, with the current president, whether you side with him or not, there's a lot of allies around the world who are saying, "Hey, man, this is not the America I'm used to. It's a little weird." And some say, "Hey, maybe it's for the better," and some say some say it's worse. We shouldn't do that because it takes a long time to be a superpower and to keep that moral standing, and not only that, but to have that number one spot. Because once you lose it, you lose leverage on a lot of things that you need done, a lot of trade deals, a lot of humanitarian crises, a lot of things where behind the scenes that citizens that we don't know, that America uses its power to leverage and get things done for our favor or to make things happen. So, and then morality, you also got, right now, both women and men don't feel valued right now. You got the current Me Too movement, and on both sides, obviously, I'm going to side with the woman in terms of the women are not being treated fairly in today's society. And there's a lot of things that women can't do that men can easily do. Like, one day I was on Twitter and I was reading this hashtag, and one woman was like, "I can't really leave the house and walk or go for a run after 9 p.m." Which is crazy because I just recently walked my dog the other day at 9 p.m. and I had no worries. And I'm sure that woman can do it, but there is a safety concern that it would be stupid for us to ignore. There is safety concerns for women as opposed to men. And it was just like little things like that where I'm sure if I read longer and deeper, I can find probably a lot more examples of stuff that women can do that women can't do that men can easily do in this country. But then you also have the other side where men are saying, "Hey, listen, there's a lot of us that are being falsely accused of stuff that we never did, we never even thought of doing," and it's crazy right now. And the Me Too movement it was needed. It was definitely needed, and I think it was a long time coming. Now, do I think that there's some people out there that are maybe getting a little bit falsely accused or is going a little too far in terms of the accusations? Yes. But I think for the most part, the people who did the crime, and we know who they are, they're serving the time and they're serving, getting pulled off of sponsorships and networks and all that stuff. So I think it's completely justified. So anyway, when it comes down to the midterm elections, you have two sides really kind of arguing. I mean, they say, yeah, we're going to save the middle class. We're going to do property tax breaks. We're going to do tax breaks on this. We're going to invest in education. They all kind of say the same stuff. To be honest, the whole education thing, until one side talks about student loan debt, I'm kind of like, this is the same old shit. Because right now, student loan debt is killing our generation. It's killing the millennials right now. And it's not that we're not willing to pay the money, but like the interest rates are outrageous. And I talked about that a few episodes ago. But regardless, I think this midterm election is going to be ugly. It's going to be a historic big one. It's going to really come down to me, economy, and morality. And I think we're going to see the state of the country, what people are going for. Are they good with the way things are economic wise? And maybe the morality thing be damned. We'll worry about that later. Or some people are going to be like, "Hey, I don't care if I'm getting extra bucks in my paycheck. The way people are being treated right now, it's not a good look. It's just not a good look. That's not who we are as Americans." That's why politics is a funny thing. You never know who's right, who's wrong. People can argue both sides all day long. My take on it, just get out and vote. Get out and vote. We got a month. It's a month away. Register. Get that. Make sure you vote in your local elections because that tends to impact your life a little bit more than the federal. Get out there because you can't go out and complain and say, oh, this and that if you're not getting out and voting. Don't be one of those people who's like, oh, well, other people are going to vote for my person anyway, so I don't need to vote. Just get out and vote. Take the time off if you can. Here's the thing. I never really understood why we couldn't, elections are not on a Saturday when more people are off. Doing it on a Tuesday is kind of an inconvenience for a lot of people because a lot of people can't just randomly take time off to stay in line for hours on end. And yeah, you can go in the morning or you can go out late, but some people got families, some people got stuff to do. It's very hard to try to vote. I think that we got to start moving to Saturday elections and maybe cell phone elections too, where, I don't know about cell phones because as much as it may be easy to vote via your cell phone, people can go and hack into that shit. So maybe baby steps. Let's do this. Let's do this stuff on the weekend. Do like a 2-day Saturday and Sunday. You go out and vote. The results come out on Monday. Boom. I think that'll make things a lot better. Anyway, sorry to put a serious note to this thing, but I thought it was a very important topic to discuss because, especially with the recent Supreme Court stuff that's been happening with potential Judge Kavanaugh, Supreme Court Judge Kavanaugh, I thought it was very interesting to talk about because the midterm elections are coming up. But anyway, besides the politics, enjoy your sports. I know I am. I'm going to watch this baseball season. I'm going to see what's going on with it. I think it's going to be very interesting what happens and who ends up being the World Series winner. I have a few friends that are going for the Yankees. I have a few that are going for the Dodgers. The Cubs lost last night. I stayed up until the 11th inning, but I guess the Rockies came back and won that one. So they'll be in the big dance. Anyway, I am going to add in the rant that I have from Monday about the Kanye West, his crazy comments about the 13th Amendment and what's really going on. I hate talking about Kanye all the time, but sometimes this guy, he just says the wildest stuff. Regardless, thank you all for listening to another episode of Just My Take podcast. I know it's a short one, but I figure it is, instead of maybe covering too many topics as I have been the past few months, let me go more in depth with the topics I do want to cover. I want to give you guys the best podcast that I can give you and give you the best content that I can give you. So just want to put the plugs out there. You can find me on social media on Instagram at DexPC5 or the Just My Take podcast. If you follow me on Instagram at DexPC5, that's D as in dog, E as in elephant, X as in xylophone, P as in Paul, C as in Charlie, the number 5. If you followed me because of the show, please search the Just My Take podcast. Please just search it, like it, follow it. Lately I've been going back and direct messaging people, thanking them for listening to the show. I do listen to the feedback. I do try to say what up. I do stuff like that. So just follow both pages. That would be great. You can also follow me on Twitter at DexPC5. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I think it's supposed to be in the Northeast. It's supposed to be pretty good. So anyway, short episode tonight, but hey, it's still a quality, great episode. And remember, everyone, whether you agree or disagree, it's just my take. Peace. I really hate bringing up this guy every week, but I have to say something about Kanye West, or in this case, Jay. I don't know who's in Kanye's camp. I don't know who's hanging out with Kanye besides the Kardashians, but someone needs to check him. Someone needs to really reach out to Kanye and really set him down because some of the stuff that he's saying is just stupid. Here's the reason of what he just said yesterday after SNL. He tweeted out, he says, "This represents good and America become a whole again." This is him on a private plane wearing the Make America Great Again hat. "We will no longer outsource to other countries. We build factories here in America and create jobs. We will provide jobs for all who are free from prisons as we abolish the 13th Amendment. Message sent with love." Here's my issue with it. I have no problem if Kanye wants to be a Trump supporter, wants to be a Republican. He's free to do that. My biggest issue is when he is talking about stuff in which he doesn't have facts about and spewing nonsense. For him, especially as an African American in America, to talk about the 13th Amendment, about getting rid of the 13th Amendment, is fucking wild to me. I think Kanye West has completely lost his mind. I think he's an attention whore. I think he really thinks he's trying to make a change in politics and society because he thinks he's such a genius. Musically, yes, he's a genius. Musically, he does a lot of amazing things, but when you're talking about everyday society, I think Kanye West is so out of touch with reality. This guy lives in Calabasas, California, with the Kardashians. Calabasas is a very, very, very rich area. He's not in tune with what the average everyday American has to go through. And if you look at it, let's break down the tweets right now. The 13th Amendment he talks about. The 13th Amendment is the abolishment of slavery. So what's he saying with that? Is he saying that we should get rid of slavery? Is he comparing the prison system to slavery, corporate America to slavery? For some reason, I think Kanye West keeps talking about slavery as if it was something that was fun for a lot of people back in the day, and that's not the case at all. Slavery, once again, I have to keep mentioning this up, but slavery was a very horrific, cruel, ugly part of American history. And guys like Kanye West have not studied up on it, have not done their research, have not talked to the right people, and seems to think that working in corporate America is slavery. That's false. People have the choice to leave a job at any time. Now, there's some people who will complain and make the job seem like it's a ball and chain, but at the end of the day, they can leave the job. Because let's be honest, if the job fired you, you have to leave anyway. So you can also have the freedom to leave a job. The prison system, that's a different choice. Some people, hey, let's be honest, if you make the choice to do a bad crime, you go to prison, but you make that choice. Now, there is cases of people who are profiled, and that's something that, I feel needs to be changed now. But regardless, I think Kanye West is on some bullshit right now, and I'm very disappointed with him because I used to be a big fan of his. I remember when he came out with the college dropout and late registration, and he was a very charismatic rapper. He was a guy from the suburbs who kind of came in the rap game in a time where a lot of people were still doing the street life. And Kanye came in as a college dropout from the suburbs. He was completely different. He was changing the rap game. And a lot of people like myself were inspired by him, were rooting for him. And we really, really thought, okay, this guy, he's going to be something special. And throughout his career, he has done a lot of special, unique things. But right now, I feel he's at a point in his career where maybe his music is not bumping like it used to. And I feel he's in the stage of his career where he's starting, he might have to start letting go, but he doesn't know how to do it. I don't know where his mind is at. Some people say he's a genius. Some people say he's a tortured soul. And I think he's one of those people where if he's not working on something with creativity, his mind starts to wander and he starts to say bullshit like what he tweeted out. And this is not the first time Kanye has said crazy stuff. A couple of months ago, he said slavery was a choice, and then he apologized for it. The problem that a lot of people like myself have with Kanye West is that we don't know if this is really his true feelings or if someone is funneling these things to him. Like I said, he has every right to be a Trump supporter. I am not knocking him for doing that. It's his American right. If he wants to align with Trump, that's fine. But at least know what the hell you're talking about. Don't just be a puppet for them. And that's what Kanye sounds like right now. Because you can tell when Kanye is saying these things, it's like brain diarrhea, brain mouth diarrhea. He's just saying whatever's on the top of his head, and he just spews it out. And then the ripple effect happens afterward. And to me, that's a shame because he has no one in his crew that can be like, hey, you know what? Stop doing that. Have you guys noticed that Jay-Z and Beyonce don't hang out with him anymore? I really would like to know what that relationship was like because Jay-Z and Beyonce saw Kanye as like a little brother. until Kim Kardashian came along. And now they don't hang out with Kanye and Kim as much anymore. Kanye, you know, I look at guys like Pusha T, Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper is doing a lot in Southside Chicago. He's such a social activist and all that stuff. And I love Chance the Rapper. But when you're meeting with Kanye, are you actually talking to him about these issues? Or are you guys in the studio just in awe of Kanye West that you just are like, all right, let's just make great music, but then Kanye can say all types of shit, which is actually detrimental to your fan base? That's what I'm wondering right now. And I'm very just disappointed. I'm not gonna say that I'm hurt by Kanye West's comments because, you know, I'm at a stage in life. I'm pretty grown. You know, Kanye is gonna say what he's gonna say. I'm at a point where a lot of the athletes and celebrities, I separate what they do on the field or in their music as opposed to their real lives. But to me, it's crazy what he's doing. Right now, I think the NBA is actually going to ban Kanye Adidas Yeezys basketball shoes, which I'm not surprised by at all. But to me, Kanye West, you know, he's coming out and he's saying that Donald Trump is for the African-American community. But there are some instances where one can point to and say he's clearly not for the African-American community. But this is the same Kanye West who during 2004, during the Hurricane Katrina marathon, said George Bush hates black people live on television. So to me, it's like, is this the same Kanye West who said that back in the day, who's now saying this stuff with Donald Trump? Or is his mind gone? Or is he just is Kanye suffering from mental illness? This is a serious question here, people. Is Kanye suffering from mental illness? Is his mind gone? Like the outbursts that he's having, the random videos that he's doing, I really don't know what's going on in this man's head. And I don't think he has the proper support system to help him out. As much as Kim Kardashian, it seems like a ride or die wife for Kanye West, I do feel that at some point, Kim's going to leave Kanye. I really do feel that way because I think once Kanye's star starts to fade, Kim is going to move on. But Kim Kardashian, I don't think she has ever been in touch with the everyday American just because she's been living in Calabasas all her life. I mean, her father, Rob Kardashian, the famous lawyer who was good friends with O.J. Simpson, and especially during that O.J. Simpson trial, they've always lived a very fancy, rich life, and that's fine. But they don't really have much interactions with the average everyday American who has to go through some bullshit. So if this is the soundboard that Kanye's saying his stuff to, we're in trouble. And the problem I have is that I think there's a lot of people out there who's taking Kanye's word and thinking that this represents a lot of people, and it doesn't. He's lost. I don't know what's going on. To me, I feel like Kanye West is starting to be the new O.J. Simpson, not including the murders. Obviously, I don't think Kanye's going to, hopefully he'll never be in the situation that O.J. Simpson is. But what I mean by that is, look at O.J. Simpson's life when he became famous. I want you to watch that ESPN documentary, the 30 for 30, when they did the O.J. Simpson's docuseries. And I think it was episode 1 and 2 where they talk about O.J.'s upbringing and how he was. O.J. was very adamant in being like, I'm not black, I'm O.J. He did not want to be seen as a black guy. He just wanted to be seen as O.J. Simpson. He did not think that race played a part. And to a degree, yes, that's how the human race should be. We all should not see color. But unfortunately, we live in America, and sometimes race just intertwines with things. Sometimes racial issues, we still haven't figured it out yet. It's going to take some time. But I think Kanye West, the way he's moving, I think he just wants to be accepted by people that look like Trump so bad that he's willing to diss the fan base that rooted for him from the beginning. He wants to diss the people from Southside Chicago who was pumping him up from the beginning to be like Donald Trump. I don't know what's going on with Kanye. He was supposed to also come out with an album. He trolled us. He did some shit on SNL saying that, people say that he's in a sunken place, and he took off the Magna hat and then he put it back on and said that was his superhero cape. I don't know if Kanye is bored, if he's suffering from mental illness, but the guy clearly needs help. I mean, to be honest, I don't really care about the album that he does in November, going to Africa and all that stuff. Maybe he does need to go to Africa. Maybe he needs to see a different part of the world, maybe clear his head a little bit, get away from the Kardashian clan, and really figure out what the fuck he's doing with his life right now. I honestly feel like if his mom was still around, he would not be doing half the shit that he's doing. I really feel he would not be doing that. I don't know if Kanye just got the rich bug and is just hanging out in Hollywood and is losing a part of himself. And I don't know who can save him. It's just very, very sad. Very sad. So that's my take on the Kanye West controversy right now. I mean, I'm sure he's going to do something sometime next week, but Kanye is Kanye. I don't know. The guy's an attention whore, but he may be suffering from mental illness. You never know.